man knows God's plan concerning another person or that family. But what I'm saying is that we need to move. So that is the first thing. Invest in land. Invest in going off the grid. That is what God has told us. Because God has already told us. I mean, if imagine the people of the world don't know this, but we know this. We are told that there's coming a time where we are going to be cut off from every earthly support. Then how can you be comfortably continuing your dependence on every earthly support? So we cannot be at peace depending on the government for everything. When they cut out the electricity, you're like, oh, what are we going to do? When they cut out the water, it's like a nightmare. No. That is not how it ought to be for God's children. That is not how it ought to be, beloved. So invest in going off grid. Then number 2, let's go to Luke chapter 16. In Luke chapter 16, we're told God gives us a parable there of the unrighteous servant. I'll just pick it up in verse 4. I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his lord's debtors unto him and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, take thy bill and sit down quickly and write 50. And so he did that. Then verse 8 says, and the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. Now let's pause here. We're told that Jesus commended the unjust steward. What was Jesus commending him for? This is what I was commending him for. The unjust steward saw that there is a crisis coming. He saw that what he had been depending upon for so many years is now about to fail. His money is about to fail as he is about to be taken out of the stewardship. And so when the unjust steward saw that there's a crisis coming, he didn't just, hang his hands and, just, crying and say, we're going to see what I do when I get there on the crisis. No. He made preparation for the crisis. He sat down and he thought, he said, okay, I don't have this skill. I don't know how to dig. And I'm ashamed to do this, so let me do this rather. So Jesus was commending the man for preparing for the crisis, but he did not commend his method of preparation. Obviously, it's because he was not dealing honestly. But what Jesus was commending is that this man prepared for the crisis. And also his man of preparation for the crisis, part of it, in as much as it was not just, but part of it had a lesson for you and me. He stopped focusing only on self. He began now to use his master's resources for helping others. Are you with me? So that when the money fails, they might receive him also into their habitations and help him. Do you see this? Now Jesus says here in verse 9, and I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when it fails, actually it's supposed to say when it fails, that when it fails, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. Now where are the everlasting habitations? That's heaven. Are you with me? So God is saying here, we need to make ourselves friends. Friends with who? Heaven, obviously, because there is the only place that has everlasting habitations. And we can't really be making ourselves friends here on the earth, because when there's a